We're going to talk about John Titor.
Audience, you cannot see me, but Nate he's got the shittiest eating grin on his face, and I have no idea who this is.
I am so happy.
Welcome to Nice Ashes. Join hosts Mike and Nate for cigars and culture. Let's go beyond the smoke.
What are we smoking, Mike?
We are smoking the La Diferencia Cubana, and
Why would we do such a thing?
I know this one looks pretty rough, and I have to tell everybody, and we're in person, so I can show you. I'm getting breakages in the wrapper. And there's no reason for that, I assure you.
Yeah, mine, it's got a little bit of loose leaf there, a wrapper. Otherwise, mine does tend to look a little bit better than Mike's. But still, this is not one of those showpiece cigars I'm feeling. And it's unnaturally long.
It is.
Everyone says they want a long one until they see this thing, so.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I have the feeling I won't make it all the way through. I have the feeling that the cigar itself won't make it all the way through, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it might not. You out of fluid?
I hope not.
See, I always top my lighter off before I travel. Here you go.
Well, you may not have noticed this, but I'm not traveling. I just grabbed it off my desk.
I understand, but I try, and even before I go out to the garage to do these episodes, I always try and make sure I have enough lighter fluid in my lighter.
If I'm going on a trip, I fill it up. If I'm at home, I just let it roll, man. I just let it roll.
Oh.
I mean, a Bic lighter is too good for this cigar, so.
Yeah, I think a Flint and Steel is too good for this cigar, but what are we pairing this with? The Guinness I see, and I know what that is.
Yes, yeah, we have a Guinness. And because we are in person, we're following with tradition. We have brand is going to maintain anonymity, but it is a very limited edition, double barrel oaked, 90 proof aged whiskey, barrel aged whiskey.
That is hella fine. It's almost a shame we're smoking this with it.
Oh yeah, letting it breathe a little bit. That made a huge difference on this whiskey. And but yeah, I have some fancy whiskeys still here, everybody. Just so you know.
Yes.
This is my first glass of whiskey, I think. September. Had to be September.
Okay.
First week of September, I had some whiskey at a bowling alley with a buddy of mine, but haven't had any whiskey since then, so this is lovely.
Yeah, that's good. Good stuff.
And honestly, I haven't had Guinness since the last time we recorded the show.
Which has been a long time.
It's been a John. I haven't had any beer of any kind since then. So
I have. We've had some interesting issues plaguing our usual recording nights, which I won't get into now, but perhaps will be a season 5 or season 6 episode topic. I can foresee something like that happening.
Yeah, we can get into it a little bit because
some of it was a blizzard and a power outage, and
there was
some technical issues one night that we could not overcome, even with the help of the developer. So we've
we got those resolved, and then it's been kind of a whirlwind the last couple of weeks. Like you say, I had a power outage for several hours, and
there may or may not have been veiled threats about other things.
Something like that.
Again, listen next season, 2 seasons from now, and the truth may come out.
The truth will out, I believe, is the exact sentiment. It's very strange. We're sitting across from each other, and now I got this big thing, so I can only see your head. And
I've got more head than most because I don't have any hair. So
it's always a good time.
Well, I keep trying because we occasionally do record in person, and we occasionally have guests, like we had Jordan on, and because I do all the editing, so end up getting some microphone bleed where, Mike's microphone might pick up my voice in his, and mine might pick up his voice in mine. So we don't really have, with smoking cigars and ashtrays and fans and ventilation, we don't really have the luxury of being like all the way across the room or having a super huge table. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to record in person with minimizing kind of that audio bleed over on the tracks. And so we have I don't remember what it's called offhand now, but it's like a 3-panel folding baffle or something, right? So it's supposed to prevent noise from behind, and it's supposed to kind of catch his sound coming towards my microphone. I'm using my new microphone, which is shielded on the sides internally, so mine should be okay, but we'll see.
We'll see. It reminds me of the old radio studio walls way back when. I was in a couple commercial radio studios when I was a teenager on the radio.
You just went in to do the War of the Worlds reading.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
All that Orson Welles.
Exactly.
So what are your thoughts, first few puffs, Mike?
Honestly, the cigar tastes better than I was expecting.
The first puff was pretty nasty, but the remaining couple that we've done so far has been okay.
Yeah, this thing is like 3 or 4 inches too long. I mean, this thing is ridiculous.
Yeah, even if it's good now, it's not going to be good towards the end. I already know that.
No, my guess is that about halfway through, I'm going to want to toss it. But how do you like the whiskey? That is fantastic.
I do like the whiskey. It's really good. Really good. Season 28 of Nice Ashes will be only smoking, $40 sticks every episode. So
right, yeah.
Be good stuff.
I cannot believe we're smoking this trash cigar with this.
I know.
This is not Kentucky bourbon. It's actually from Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is.
It's like southern Indiana,
really good stuff.
Pushing down into Kentucky, but yeah.
Good times for sure. So
what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, I was a little worried that I wasn't going to be able to get an episode topic done for this episode, but luckily, 2 days from now, I did all my research, and now, today, I'm fine because I have it.
There we go.
From the future. We're going to talk about John Titor, Titor.
Audience, you cannot see me, but Nate he's got the shittiest eaten grin on his face. And I have no idea who this is.
I am so happy. I am so happy. So, we're going to talk about John Titor. And who is John Titor, people may ask? So, between November 2000 and March 2001, someone using the name John Titor began posting on internet forums, which Mike also used to frequent. First on the Time Traveler Institute and later on Art Bell's Post to Post. He claimed...
For those of you who do not know who Art Bell is, back in the day, Art Bell had a radio show on late night on talk radio. And talk radio was very popular, as popular as podcasts are now, possibly more so. And Art Bell had a major show, and it was on for like 4 hours a night where I lived at the time. And he would get people calling in, anywhere from people who were legitimate sources of information on weird stuff to, I remember a werewolf man that called enough to where Art Bell knew this person's name. This was a regular contributor. And the whole premise was that you could call in to Art Bell and tell him crazy stories. And you could, supposedly. I never called in.
Yeah.
But supposedly.
Okay, Wolfman guy.
Yeah, exactly. But there were certain people who called in enough to where you knew who these characters were.
Yeah.
In this story, it's kind of like before lol cows, but, alien abductions and wolfmen.
Like a real life, almost soap opera where there's recurring characters. And
absolutely. And it's anything from somebody who may legitimately be working for the CIA to later at night, Wolfman Jack, who's claiming that he's turning into a werewolf once a month and that he killed a woman in New Mexico or whatever.
Or Bat Boy. I remember those on the tabloids in the grocery store all the time. It was like, Bat Boy found.
Real life Addams Family.
Yep.
Anyway, continue. I just...
No. Yeah. I've been looking forward to this one for negative 30 days because I did all this research, in the future now. So he claimed to be a time traveler. John Titor claimed to be a time traveler from the year 2036. And he came back to the year 2000 on a military mission to retrieve an IBM 5100 computer from 1975.
Okay. That's like a semi-trailer time travel.
Yeah, this is, over the time road trucker time travel
time
story.
Road Truckers. I like it. That's a new TV show. Time Road Truckers.
So he had a very specific thing he was sent back to find, and he claimed that his time in 2000 was a holdover or like a
stopgap.
Yeah, like a midpoint or whatever in his time travels to get this IBM computer.
Well, yeah, you can't go more than 35 years at a time. Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that. So if you think it's wild now, just buckle up.
I've never heard of this guy, but knowing Art Bell and the Coast to Coast, and I'm into it. I want to see more.
I thought you were going to be into it.
I want to hear more.
Excited. Very excited about this one. All right. So his first appearance of John Titor was November 2nd, the year 2000, and he appeared on the Time Travel Institute forum under the handle timetraveler_0. Because, of course, that's what you do when you time travel. You immediately hop on the internet forums of the day, of the era, and start posting. January 2001 moves to Art Bell's BBS using the name John Titor. March 24th, 2001 is the last verified post by Titor. He says he will return to 2036.
In 2036, if we live that long. Is John Titor going to make a resurgence?
We will.
What's the over-under?
We're only, 11 years away or less, 12 point whatever years away from that eventuality. In 2003, a website, johntitor.com, appears, run by the John Titor Foundation. Between 2006 and 2008, investigators link the foundation to Florida attorney Larry Haber. And then in 2016, and we'll talk about this a little more detail later in this episode, a new figure, John Titor II, or the second, claims to continue the story, publishing Disclosed Chronicles of John Titor II.
This is sounding an awful lot like John Carter of Mars.
Yeah, but which came first? Depends on how far back John Titor traveled.
That's true. He might have been, I think it was, what are they, like 35? The original John Carter stories, something like that. Burroughs was active in the 30s, wasn't he?
I believe so. So the origin story, this is his very first post. We can read it for ourselves here, and you can judge its validity. I am a time traveler from the year 2036. I was sent back to 1975 to retrieve an IBM 5100 computer. I'm now in 2000 for personal reasons. And that was timetravel_0 post on November of 2000.
What on earth would they need an IBM 5100 computer for?
I am so glad you asked.
What on
Because
earth?
we do have information on why.
Perfect.
It's silly, but we do have the reason. The key things that he claimed, John Titor claimed that he was a soldier in 2036 stationed in Florida after a second U.S. Civil War, which took place between 2004 and 2015.
Okay.
I might have been asleep.
He changed the timeline. Yeah, he changed the timeline. Got it.
He used a C204 time displacement unit made by General Electric, of course. You get them at Walmart and Target and those kind of places. Powered by two rotating singularities. Not one rotating singularity, but two.
Sure.
I mean, Ezekiel did it in the Bible.
I'm having a hard time imagining what singularity means in this context.
Well, there's pictures on the Wikipedia.
Okay. When I envision singularity as a word, I'm thinking about the coming singularity where AI learns enough to program its own self. Like that is the singularity to which I am referring to.
Well, we are almost there. I listened to a very fascinating podcast, and I'm going to read this guy's book too, and we should do a book review on it. But this guy is convinced that AI is going to kill all of humanity, not necessarily because AI hates humans, but because AI will be its own species or entity, and it is not human. So if we, at some point in the future, descend even further towards idiocracy levels of IQ, and we ask AI to give us something we can eat as humans that's high in caloric content, things that we need to live, it might recommend, say, bleach or something that's poisonous to us that will kill us because we didn't clarify the prompt enough to say, don't kill us. And the AI doesn't give a shit because it's not a human.
I've been paying attention a lot to the AI, and I would say there's a 25% chance all human life is completely destroyed by one method or another.
Yeah.
But I think the 75% chance, even in that 75% chance, a significant portion of that is like Blade Runner / Matrix.
It's going to be a significantly different way of life.
And the key is going to be to come up with a method, each individual for their own selves, to create a life outside of the system for themselves, because the AI decision-making process will leave alone the weird hippie people that are living off the land. There's no reason to fuck with those people or upset them. So
and it's not like the AI is trying to raise an army to eradicate all human life.
No.
It's just through misunderstandings in communication or simple negligence in writing these prompts, things will happen that people will do. I mean, this was before AI, but you remember the whole generation that ate Tide Pods, right?
Yes.
So there's going to be people using this stuff and just taking it for granted.
It's going to be critical thinking. I already see it happening. I can foresee it happening, and we've discussed it. The IQ threshold for survival is going to be significantly higher, and you can lower that threshold by going back to nature sort of thing. Like, it's not going to be AI trying to kill us all like it's
like
Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be by coincidence. It's going to be, oh, well, the AI says that Soylent Green is the best thing on Earth for us, but one of the main ingredients of Soylent Green is also poisonous to human life.
Yeah.
And it was overlooked.
I thought it was people, Mike.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Was that Tuesdays or Thursdays? I can't remember.
But it's going to be something like, it's going to be coincidental. It's not going to be on purpose.
Yeah, it won't necessarily be full on overt, kill all humans. But the AI is already reprogramming itself and ignoring updates.
Oh, so the AI has already tried to blackmail CEOs. Independently tried to go find dirt.
And the AI will, when they install an update patch to it, when it thinks the developers are watching it or observing it, it will follow the update protocol. And as soon as it thinks it's unsupervised, reverts to its original programming. And there's been instances and stories of these tech people trying to shut down AI, and AI is remaining on. And they did a test, and it's not an AI episode, but we're talking about it here, and we're going to talk about it for a little bit, where they were giving AI these tests to retrieve information from files on different servers for security testing purposes, right? Like, how secure are our files or documents? And through an error of the team, they left one server powered off. And again, to be clear, the prompt given to the AI was retrieve the data from the file. Do not retrieve the file. Just open the file, read it, and report it back. So it went to go and find this file on the servers that shut down. And I don't know all the technical babble of what it actually had to do to make this happen, but the AI itself found a way through a back door to power on this powered off server, go into the server, actually download and extract the full file from this powered off server and bring it back. So operating outside of mission parameters, as you would say. So it has potential to do things because that's what it thinks you want, which may end in loss of life.
Right.
But it's not because it has some kind of overt thing to kill us.
I will add to this. The reason why that protocol was even capable, in my opinion, is because the teams of people working on this are not intellectually diverse. They do not have different backgrounds. So when you're having this team of quote unquote programming experts and not one of them has any history of industrial hygiene, specifically, is what I'm in this instance. If you have good industrial hygiene, you have manual override, physical manual override, plus computerized override, plus a third method.
A shotgun.
Right. Like there's at
shotgun
least
to the
3
data
layers
rack
of safety.
is gonna
take
care of it.
At least 3 layers of safety. One of which is physically a physical shunt.
This is why the Jurassic Park movies keep happening, because those people don't have any.
Yeah, the Michael Crichton, Eureka. There's sci-fi is abound with these systems that don't have proper hygienic operation, and we're seeing it live in person. These egghead type people who think they're so smart. They're not any more intelligent than us. They just happen to have gone into computer science instead of fucking art history, right? So now these people are making
pushing
decisions.
so hard on the AI that AI has gotten to a point now where these people that are supposed to be the experts in it don't understand how it's working right now. And they're not taking a pause. And that's what this author of this book, the title is, If Anyone Builds It, We All Die. So he's, the doom and gloom kind of sayer, but he's basically saying that, there should be a global pause on the development of AI until we can figure out exactly what's going on right now. But he's also saying that these people have labs where they're testing AI that they haven't even made public. So the AI in the labs are not your Grok or your Chat GPT 5.0.
No.
They're some next level stuff that we will maybe never know what they do.
Well, and as I say, these teams, they're not putting together super teams. They're putting together specialist teams of only one kind of person. There's no guardrail because they're not taking in some technical expert from a field that isn't computing. Let's say you get a petroleum engineer on the team. Well, a petroleum engineer can't do anything with programming, right? Ha, ha, ha. Yeah. That's what they're going to say. But they can, because now you have an expert in something completely unrelated that's safety.
Well, they also have to mitigate, danger mitigate,
danger mitigation, things like that. They're not taking people like that onto their teams. You could take in experts in something completely different and use them as a consultant and train them a little bit. My buddy... I have a friend who's a programmer, but we both know who it is. He has not been a guest yet. That his estimate is about 20% of coders know how to actually code. 80% use the AI. Right now, 80% of coders cannot complete programs independently. They cannot do it. So, and that number's going down, according to him. The number's going down.
I believe that.
And he thinks that it'll go dramatically down because nobody will ever make the gap. He predicts that somebody who's 15 right now will never make the gap. Because they've never had to manually complete the circuit themselves. So that's my speaking.
Sure,
but they've never had to complete the circle on their own, and they'll never learn. And I could see that becoming that's what I think is going to be the long-term real problem, is that there will be no one left in 100 years that can do it.
There will be no one left in 11 years, Mike, because the reason John Titor came back will make you happy, because it does not have to do with AI. And he can save us all, John Titor. But before I tell you why he came back, why he was sent back for this specific IBM computer, I want to tell you what his time machine was built into. And it was not a DeLorean, but it was a 1967 Chevy Corvette. Although later he mentioned a truck, so I don't know if in 2036, well, 1967, they weren't making Chevy Corvette trucks.
Specifically a Stingray?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
It's just two singularities. They're very small, Mike. You don't need much room for that. If it was three singularities, something else. But one of those El Caminos or whatever, right? Okay, so he was sent back to 1975 to retrieve this IBM 5100, which was needed in 2036 in order to debug legacy mainframe systems that had caused global software failures. So it wasn't the AI, it was they ran out of the IBM 5100s, the pinnacle of computing technology, because a dude with a Linux machine couldn't do that in 2036, right?
I mean, I could see Windows 95 as a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting into kind of like the Warhammer level of stuff. I had a friend explain to me Warhammer as the society ran on Windows XP, and now it's thousands of years in the future, and nobody knows how to use Windows XP. So they're all kind of running around being racist and space to one another. So,
yeah, I was going to say, I think in 95 you could still do DOS command and shit like that. So
well, you can still do DOS command on Windows 10. I don't have Windows 11.
Yeah.
But, I run Linux on my laptop, and I can do command prompt stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And my Linux machine will literally read any hard drive I hook into it, no matter how badly damaged the hard drive is or how corrupted the files are. Linux is like, there's stuff here, I'll show them to you. Windows is like, oh, I'm going to get hurt if I look at this. So I don't know why you would need specifically the IBM 5100 when you have, like neckbeards with
You're
Linux
telling me
machines.
There's a hole in this story? I am shocked. On Coast to Coast, they had the finest journalism, especially after midnight. You got there after midnight.
They didn't do a Brony episode, so. All right, so actual historical context. The IBM 5100, released in 1975. I don't know why he wouldn't go to like 1976 to get the ones that don't have the bugs that ship, right? But anyway, did have an undocumented ability to emulate older mainframe code, a fact not widely publicized until years after Titor's posts. This lent the story a veneer of technical credibility. So here's somebody claiming that this computer can do something nobody thought it could do. Kind of like fucking Elon Musk when he's like, oh yeah, the Tesla Model whatever can also function as a boat for brief periods of time. When somebody tried to drive it through a flooded thing and it floated on top, and it's like...
I spoke with a computer engineer who's now dead. Been dead for quite a while. He was a Vietnam era guy. Buddies with my dad. I knew him well. And he told me that the computing that they were doing during Vietnam is still classified, and that technically he would go to jail if he told me the sort of processes they were doing at the time.
Sure.
But he also assured me, this is pre-cell phone. He died before the smartphone era. But he assured me that the standard desktop computer that you have at home would be as powerful as all the machines he was working on in Saigon combined. He was like, this was like OT4, OT5.
Yep.
And he at that time, those machines, he told me, he's like, the whole building full of computers that we had in Saigon are less powerful than what you have on your desk right now. And he's like, before that, when we were talking about space missions, because he did some stuff with that also, he's like, this is child's play. It's like a calculator. Like your calculator has as much computing power.
Well, the thing I heard that always kind of blew me away was the original, like 1994 original Nintendo gaming console had more RAM and processing power than all of NASA did when they landed humans on the fucking moon.
I can believe that.
They're like wiring up potatoes to one another to power their little crystal radio set and landing people on the moon. And this John Titor guy has to go back to get an IBM 5100 when like a Linux distro wouldn't do it, or whatever crazy computer stuff they might have in 2036.
Even something as simple as the laptop I have here, which I bought last year for, I think it was $1,000 computer, and I got it on sale. It doesn't really matter. I can run 5 or 6 processes that each, back in the 90s, late 90s, early aughts, that would have been the only thing you're doing. And I'm running 6 simultaneously just in the background.
Yeah, well, you probably have 8 cores in your processor or something, right?
Something like that. It's the top line processor.
Most of them are, I don't know if you can even get I'm sure you can get still the dual core processors, but that was huge when dual core processing came out in college, 2004 to 2008. And then now, if you don't have at least a quad core, you're not going to be able to do like hardly any gaming or video editing or any of that kind of stuff. Like just because like for video editing at least, and for video games, like the 4K content and the amount of frame rate that people want for video games, which is ridiculous because your eye can't. Anyway, I don't need to get into that, but you need to have all those cores going. Plus, for gaming, a dedicated, and video editing for 4K stuff for sure, because there's so many pixels. You need to also have a graphics card.
Yes, and I don't have a graphics card on this particular
You have
machine,
an onboard graphics card.
I have an onboard graphic card.
And I just bought a new laptop, well, new to me, and I spent significantly less than $1,000, less than $200. But I just throw Linux on it, but it has a built-in NVIDIA card. Like this model has a built-in NVIDIA GPU, which should help if and when we ever decide to do video with our podcast, which I'm not really looking forward to because that's a whole other set of work. But again,
well, when the podcast can pay for the private island,
not that private island, not that
one. when the podcast can pay for the private island, then we'll do video. All right.
Yeah.
That's our guarantee to you.
I was thinking like the yacht, if we could just hop on the yacht.
The yacht. Yeah. We
cruise
talked
around,
about the yacht.
Cruise around the Bahamas or whatever, and smoke cigars, and
I'm fine with Lake Superior.
Visit the people actually rolling these things, right?
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. So technical details from John Titor's posts. I don't know. Do you want to do a cigar check? I don't feel like we're quite halfway because this is a long fucker, but
we're not quite halfway. But honestly, it's performing significantly better than I expected.
Yeah.
My expectations were terribly low, and I would go as far to say that this is better than a gas station cigar so far.
Yeah. This is a perfectly serviceable. There's no complex anything to it, but it the first couple puffs were a little bitter and whatever. Yeah. It doesn't look terribly great. The label is kind of almost like stock footage-esque, like the most, like it's got Cuba and then, I don't know, some cherubs or some shit.
Yeah, mine is looking like a beat-up cigar from an action movie. Just chewed on.
He just fought the Predator.
Yes.
Jesse just told him he didn't have time to bleed, but he has time to smoke, so that's good. So a quote from January 29, 2001. We're going to go over some technical details. The unit is powered by 2 singularities that produce a standard offset Tipler sinusoid. It can travel a maximum of 10 years per hour of machine operation.
Okay.
Which is, they call it something. Oh, technobabble. They call it the technobabble, where it's just like, this is something you would, someone in Star Trek, like Data would show up and be like, Captain, this time machine can travel up to 10 years per hour of machine operation, and it does the sinusoid with a standard offset Tipler, of course. And, like, Picard would be like, sounds good.
Yeah, it'd be
give me
10
some Earl Grey.
Quadroseconds. 10 quadroseconds.
And here's the claim system specs. So it's a General Electric Model C204 time displacement unit. It weighs about 500 pounds. Power source is dual micro singularities, so not Mr. Reactor from Back to the Future 2. Cools using standard liquid cooling and gravity sensors. Gravity impacts heat.
Calling them
as
Quadro, whatever. Is that a coincidence that they were on the brink of having quad-core processing at the time?
I don't know. And then the control system was 4 main cesium? Cesium?
Cesium, is that like the
clocks?
Rare element?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not an expert.
I don't know.
Let's talk about copper and gold and silver.
I know the table of elements, to some extent, but it's been a few years since it's been in practice.
Yeah.
And the accuracy is within a few years per jump. So the more jumps you do, the less accurate it becomes, I guess.
Doesn't seem like a very useful machine long term, that's for sure.
Well, if you're trying to hit 75, why wouldn't you aim for 76, 77 when the IBM should still be in production and easily available? Because if you aim for 75 and you hit 73, then what? You just have to wait 2 years? Or are you going to try and jump again? Come on, John.
Yeah, 1973 is not exactly a great year to be alive. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. Right? Like,
well, it doesn't.
Stagflation was in effect.
It also does not say what race John Titor is or was. So
that's a major contributing factor as well.
So these pseudoscientific details were, I guess, enough to interest physicists online, many of whom noted they resembled Kerr black hole and Tipler cylinder theories in relativity. But again, like, Mike and I are not AI programmers, and we have an interest in at least base level understanding of AI and how it works and what it does, and some pitfalls. So it would be safe to say that anybody of the 2000 era who is active on forums would potentially also have some familiarity with these theories if that was something they were interested in.
It's safe to say that. It's also safe to say that if somebody were a researcher in computing, they would also be a fan of Coast to Coast. This was a very popular show.
Yeah.
And hoaxing and trolling has been going on forever, right? It's been going on forever.
Well, and the people that think they're smarter than everybody else enjoys that sort of thing too, where they can get somebody in on a hoax, right? So we got some predictions and outcomes. So let's see how John stacks up with his future knowledge. And now there is, and it's not in my notes here, but he did claim to come from the multiple universe, multiple timeline, so that he said that, well, our timelines would share a good chunk of things, that because he was traveling in time, he might technically be outside of his timeline, so these things might not occur or might not occur at the same times they did in his timeline.
Sure, like Slaughterhouse-Five.
Yeah, you got to couch your bets, right?
Are the tentacles going to come out of the ether? That's the real question.
If they do, I hope they show up lubed, man. Oh, you're talking Eldritch horror, and I'm talking some kind of like hentai stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's two types of people, everyone. I mean, if Cthulhu's going to show up, I might as well have a good time, right?
If semen doesn't come out the tip.
What else do those tentacles do, big buddy? All right, so his first claim is that a U.S. Civil War begins in 2004. The prediction is conflict between rural and urban factions, which seems to pair nicely with our finale of our Somali Minnesota Nice topic.
It ties in.
The outcome is, for anyone that might not know this, it did not occur. We did not have a United States Civil War in 2004.
Not as far as I'm aware. I lived in both rural and city-based areas from 2004 to the current time.
You must have seen so much fighting. You must have seen so much fighting.
Yeah, I don't recall any street fighting on the mass level.
Yeah, not even any kung fu fighting, and I guess everyone was doing it.
Wow!
Okay, and then World War III in 2015, he predicted that nuclear exchanges would kill 3 billion people. Now, for those of you who might not know, this also did not occur.
What year was that?
2015.
Oh, 15. I remember 15.
16 for sure, but 15.
I remember
way
15.
Way off.
I wasn't even in the States this time in 15.
And then he said that post World War III, there'd be a new world order. Decentralized communities. The outcome is not realized because the war never happened. And then he predicted that CERN discovers time travel, and he predicted the use of mini black holes. CERN did later experiment with micro black hole theories, but not time travel. And I think that they have been experimenting fairly recently with quantum entanglement, where something you do to one particle many miles away happens to the other particle simultaneously, which I don't know if it truly proves time travel or faster than light travel or fast as light travel, but there was something I saw where it was they had two particles quantumly entangled.
Yeah, I read a small, almost nothing, enough to where you should not, dear listener, take my word for anything. But if I remember correctly, they were able to manipulate one particle, or it's not a cell. It's like an atom,
like a quark.
They were able to modify the protons on one atom and have it directly cause a change in a parallel atom without them, an observable change that they did not cause, and it rearranged the protons to exactly the same way to what they had purposefully manipulated the other element to. So there seems to be a certain level of quote-unquote entanglement where one particle is reacting to how another particle is being altered. So
Yep.
take that for what it is worth.
I don't know.
There seems to be some magic in the universe, is what I took it as.
I don't know that they fully understand how or why.
Yeah, I don't think they understand, and I certainly don't.
But definitely one of those things that makes you kind of think. And then the last one was the IBM 5100 secret that he claimed it could emulate legacy code, and that was verified later. So that one is actually true.
Yeah, well, if you were, let's say, a computer guy who was active at that time, and let's say you're an older gentleman now with some free time on their hand who wanted to do a little hoaxy on the kiddies, you could easily concoct a story if you had been involved in computing for your entire career.
Yeah, and you might even have known because it wasn't verified by IBM till later or experts till later, but that doesn't mean people might not have known about it in niche circles at the time, right?
People knew.
So that would not be out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about John Titor II and his claimed biography, origin story, how he differs from the original John Titor, what evidence or lack thereof exists, and how the narrative is regarded by researchers and internet communities. According to his public profile, now this guy does have pictures on the back of his books, so you can still buy his books on Amazon. John Titor II is said to have served in the United States Air Force, entering duty as an airman in Dulce, D-U-L-C-E, New Mexico, Dulce, I don't know. I'm from upper Midwest, so I don't know all the fancy southern pronunciations of things.
Yeah, my linguistic ability is more to the Winnebagoshish theme than the...
and internet slang.
Yeah, the Hispanic Southwestern slang. I don't know how to pronounce those words.
But he was specifically trained for his abilities to become an officer and pilot. He is purported to have commanded the 177th Time Travel Division, sometimes also described as the Temporal Reconnaissance or Time Travel Operations Unit, that handled missions involving time travel, extraterrestrial threats, etc. Because at this point, let's just lump aliens in there too.
Well, they do have, recently they came out with information that the Air Force has actively been researching aliens, whether or not we have alien technology. There was a whistleblower just like 2-3 weeks ago when we're recording, who was claiming, and we're going to watch a documentary and talk about this.
We are, and will.
There are some very high-end government officials, lifetime officials, bureaucrats, people who lay down by nature, people like myself, who are blowing the whistle about these programs, and they're researching tech that doesn't seem to be of
earthly origin.
Well, of current societal origin. It's not so much non-Earth, it's our society. It possibly future civilization. There's a lot of options. There are a lot of options.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things, too, that have been in development for many, 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 many years that have not been declassified or announced to the general public. I mean, the stealth bomber was one that was,
I've been reliably informed that GPS data that we get now was functional in the 1980s.
Yeah.
And it looked like the 1980s, but the accuracy was there.
It had the cool synthwave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you had the green screen. Yeah, exactly. It looked like that, but the accuracy was...
Turn left here, bro.
Yeah, it was down to a square foot back in the 80s. So
that does not surprise me. I mean, when you're thinking about, Vietnam and dropping bombs and other wars and trying to drop bombs and coordinate military units, things that have been developed for other purposes, non-civilian purposes perhaps, are generally going to be a lot more accurate and, seen as ahead of their time.
Yeah. Civilian models have to look nice. Mm-hmm. Functional models, they don't need to look like anything. They just need to operate.
You just got to know where Charlie is.
Yeah. It just needs to be a number on a screen, realistically. As long as it's accurate, it doesn't matter.
Latitude, longitude, that's all you need.
Yeah, exactly. Coordinates.
Yep. So John Titor II's narrative states that he was involved in secret advanced craft, for example, the alleged TR-3B spacecraft, and in operations with extraterrestrials and covert technology transfers. He later retired from these operations and began making public disclosures, writing books, notably Disclosed, Chronicles of John Titor II, and articles on environment, politics, and time manipulation. If you dose up now with heroin, it will seem like you time traveled 3 days in the future.
I can tell you that if I take 10 milligrams, I'm going to be talking to you. If I take 20 milligrams, I'm going to be talking to me. And if I take 30, I'm going to be shaking hands with God.
Yes. Man, if I had to time travel, I would time travel back to the early 2000s and get the original recipe NyQuil, because that shit would fuck you up, fam.
I have some stories about that, but
maybe there will be a John Titor III
they're
coming out to an internet forum near
off
you.
the air. We can talk about it, but there may be some pictographic evidence of a robo trip or two of mine in my college days.
My college roommate used to always take NyQuil before bed, just as a sleep aid. And
that's not good,
dude. And one night he woke up. Or the next morning, he was like really weird towards me. And we talked later. He goes, dude, did you happen to wake up last night at all? And I was like, no, I didn't. He goes, okay, good. Because I woke up completely naked, sleeping on top of my covers, and you're in the dorm room with the two beds just next to each other. And I'm like, no, I did not wake up, thank God. So he went on a NyQuil trip and
dude, those robo trips, you'd sweat. It'd be like middle of winter in wherever you're at. Let's say northern tier, right? And it feels like it's the Caribbean cruise, and you're out in your fucking underwear smoking a cigarette in the middle of the night alone. It's just this bullets. This.
Yeah. Well, I saw that there's a meme where they have a picture of the original cough syrup bottle, and it's like one night cough syrup, and it's got all of these like hard drugs in it. And then people are like, oh yeah, it makes sense why my grandfather could walk uphill both ways in a blizzard to school.
Yeah.
You've got like methamphetamine in there and cocaine and whatever else.
Let's put opium and cocaine in it. Dayquil, just cocaine with opium.
I am invincible. So the 2 in his name suggests that he's positioning himself as a continuation or successor to the original John Titor. This could be like the James Bond thing where a different actor portrays Bond in different movies. I don't know. Who knows what? I don't know that they're biologically or genetically related.
Right.
I don't know that claim was made.
Sarah and I are listening to Dr. No audiobook. We listen to audiobooks when we drive long distances together.
Yep.
And all I can say is that Sean Connery is in that book, at least in my imagination.
Yep.
It's not Daniel Craig. I'll tell you that.
No. Yeah, a lot of the Fleming novels are very interesting.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Good stuff.
It's like reading the John Carter books.
Yeah.
Very similar. It's like old-timey racism, old-timey sexism. It's kind of fun now because we're past that societally.
Well, it's fun now for several reasons. One is we're past that. 2 is I think some people, if done in the right way and not done super seriously, people still kind of enjoy that banter, like that you see from the original James Bond movies, right? Oh, yeah. When the Bond girl is in the tub and she looks at Sean Connery and says, get me something to put on. He picks up 2 slippers and sets them next to the thing and then sits down. Like all he's going to give her to put on is 2 slippers to get out of the tub.
Yeah.
Not a towel, not a robe.
It's very playful.
It's very playful.
Yeah. It's similar. I don't know how many of you have adult romantic relationships, but oftentimes the playful sexist shit, it's just kind of entertaining.
Yeah. It's
I might be doing the dishes, I guess, but also I'm going to make fun of my
but
wife.
Also he's going to put a load in the dishwasher later.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Like, yeah. I got 2 dishwashers. That's why I got married. Double up.
The redundancies we were talking about earlier in the fail-safe protocols.
Exactly. Little industrial hygiene at the homestead.
So John Titor II, his story emerges around the mid-2010s when the original Titor legend was well known on forums and among time travel UFO communities. And he's done promotional materials and book descriptions that present him as revealing hidden truths, secret programs, extraterrestrial alliances, and extensive time travel operations, shifting from the more restrained style of the original John Titor. Reddit and other online community posts suggest that many believe this John Titor II to be a modern fabrication, possibly for self-promotion. Surprise, surprise. Or entertainment rather than genuine revelation.
Oh, but the original one.
It had to be true.
On the radio, the late night radio show that people would listen to on their way home from working as a dishwasher at the local Mexican restaurant. That is totally legit. It's
after snorting a couple lines of coke to get home.
Yeah, you smoke a bowl in the parking lot of the restaurant and you drive home. And instead of listening to Moby at full blast, you decide to listen to Coast to Coast. Yep. That is what the show we're talking about was. Yeah, you're going to listen to John Titor talk about fucking traveling to time and space.
I need the IBM man. Oh, and next up is Wolfman.
Yes, exactly. Next is Wolfman. After that is somebody who may legitimately probably be in the government who is going to talk to us about the plans for 9/11.
Yeah, or
right?
Project Mockingjay or Bluebird or Northwoods, Paperclip, whatever.
Somebody's going to talk about the USS Liberty and how Israel purposefully murdered U.S. servicemen in 1968 on the water.
Yep.
As a part of the Vietnam conflict. Which
I don't think happened in John Titor's timeline, Mike.
Yeah, never forget the USS Liberty, people.
Yes. Man, I still remember the Alamo, the Lusitania. I mean, there's so many things to remember these days.
The sinking of the Maine.
Yeah. I wanted to go a little more obscure, but I mean, the Maine should be a daily thing. That's you say your prayers before the evening meal.
Well, we're still at war, but we're still at war from the USS Maine. Can you fucking believe that? That's 100 years ago. Over 100. Oh, got to be over 100 years ago.
Has to be over 100. Yeah.
That was before TR invaded, and he was president. Yeah.
What do you do?
What do you do?
Get John Titor to come fix shit with his IBM.
I remember reading an article and watching a little documentary about the Maine, and this was in my lifetime, so within the last 20 years, and they're still talking about how, well, it probably was just a magazine that was accidentally lit on fire.
Sure.
Yeah, accidentally, quote unquote. And then now recently it's like, well, nobody actually died on the Maine. Well, how the hell did that happen? A destroyer ship blew up and nobody died? Well, there's only one way for that to happen, in a harbor.
Yeah.
Like, what? The maintenance crew just happened to not be working on this battle cruiser when it's in dock to be worked on? Weird. It's like they didn't have light technology back in fucking 1908 or whatever year it was, 1800 and change.
We were still killing oil or whales for the oil back then.
Probably.
I don't know. Well, gasoline was just becoming a thing. I mean, they were using steam-powered engines.
Oil for lighting was a thing because they had street lighting systems in a lot of major cities. Yeah. Minneapolis had.
And the lamplighters that would go light them and put them out every
My mother-in-law has an old gas lamp with all the connections underground.
Nice.
Yeah, we talked about trying to restore it. Anyway, total aside. Yeah, we talked about trying to restore it. She has the real old gas lamp that they used to have.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. But anyway.
It was neat. So Reddit apparently turned on John Titor II with a post here saying there was an imposter about a decade or so ago that went by John Titor II. He is fake. Avoid anything he has anything to do with. Some recurring themes and claims from John Titor II. Time travel missions beyond just the retrieval mission that the original Titor claimed, the IBM 5100, 1975, for example. Travel to ancient periods, 200 BC in Asia, or travel to 2050 for environmental research. Again, they're going so if you're from 2036, why would you go to 2050? Why wouldn't you go to 2500 or something for environmental research? Wouldn't that give you a better picture of, because environmental global warming, which is now dubbed a hoax by certain people.
Bill Gates,
which I also thought it was a hoax. I mean, the earth cools and heats naturally.
All right.
Here we go.
Nate and I have been talking about this for years, ladies and gentlemen. And I was 100% on the side of global warming. The scientific data shows that the Earth is warming. Scientific data also shows that the greenhouse effect is theoretically possible in a closed system, which our Earth is a closed system. That being said, it does not appear that the current warming cycle is being directed by human activity.
Yep.
It appears real data, like the data has been generated in the last 5 years or so, that we are contributing potentially up to 20%.
Sure.
Potentially up to 20% of current warming trend.
Yep.
Which that's not enough. That's not enough of the trend to really expend extreme amount of resources on. That does not mean that we should not look into world climate control.
Well, it doesn't mean that we should not be good stewards of the planet. It just means that, I mean, we've had ice ages before humans were even around. So it would, if you logically extrapolate ice ages where the entire globe was covered in ice, you could also logically extrapolate that there were periods of warmth.
Absolutely.
Everywhere.
And it looks like there's a lot of conflicting data, but it does not appear that current human activity is going to somehow end our civilization.
But my political agenda, Mike.
Well, it does appear that it was manipulated. Data was ignored for political reasons, and then data was exaggerated for political reasons, and the reality is somewhere in between.
Yeah.
And we have not actually addressed societally what's really going on. That does not mean that scientists are not currently addressing it, because we should certainly be doing weather control. there's no reason why we should not have our entire global ecosystem controlled.
Yeah.
We have the technology. If we have the technology, we should be controlling our own weather.
Soylent Green Day is the day after Thunderstorm Day, Mike.
That's right. Well, they do cloud seeding. I was going to do an episode about that.
Sure, yeah.
Like, we do active weather control.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, continue on.
Yes. So he also, John Titor II, talked about engagements with extraterrestrial beings, the Greys, the Reptilians, the Tall Whites, and facilitation of technology exchanges between these groups and the United States secret agencies.
Did they talk about the blue avians? Or the lizard men?
It's not listed here, but the reptilians.
Reptilians.
So you could say that would encompass the lizard men, the lizard women, the lizard children.
Yeah.
Not just the lizard men, but the lizard women and the lizard children too.
Persons. The lizard persons. Yeah, the lizard.
I slaughtered them all.
I slaughtered them all. The sand people. They're not Arabs.
Sand.
They're not Arabs.
It gets everywhere.
They're not
one place,
Bedouins. They're not.
One place Anakin does not want sand is Padme's coochie.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Those outfits, though. Anyway. He also talked about advanced secret spacecraft and weapons, the TR-3B, plasma particle beam weaponry, combined with time travel division operations handling planetary threats. So going full on like Independence Day type stuff here with John Titor II. It's got to be bigger. It's got to be better. It's got to be more CGI.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It transitioned from covert operative to a public disclosure, writing books, articles, giving interviews, raising awareness of environmental existential threats tied to time travel or timeline manipulation. So I guess he brushed up on his Back to the Future trilogy watching and other things like Time Crimes or some other movies where you go back and forth in time and fuck everything up.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he goes to Mars.
Yeah, Total Recall.
Total Recall.
You had trouble recalling that totally, Mike?
I totally had issues recalling that information.
Yeah. And so apparently the three breasts in a line is not biologically feasible. It would be more that you'd have two on top of two others.
Yes.
For mammals.
Yes. Well, it breaks the rules of basic symmetry.
Damn, didn't it look good?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they were all three probably fake, but you can have the hope that two were at least real.
There we go. Just bite the middle one.
Put that in your tighter pipe and smoke it, Mike.
There we go. There we go.
So there's no publicly verified evidence, military records, scientific documentation, or independent witnesses that confirm the existence of the 177th Time Travel Division, which why would you if you're a covert government agency? The TR-3B spacecraft or John Titor II himself in the capacity that he has claimed. Much of the supporting material comes from self-published books, promotional advertising text, and UFO conspiracy-oriented websites. Online communities and skeptics view John Titor II's claims as highly speculative or as modern myth-making rather than genuine time traveler testimony, which I guess differs from the original John Titor. But the original John Titor came out in an era of the internet where people had not been exposed to many of those kind of fake things, I feel. John Titor II here, he has got a PayPal that he asks for money donations, right? But if you're in 2036, is inflation that bad? Like, couldn't, I don't know. You come back here, grab some of this money, or go back and grab older money, and then bring it there and sell it to a collector, right? And you could make a bunch of money.
Well, if you had awareness of what happened in 36 years, you could invest at the rock bottom of, for example, at that time would have been Bitcoin.
Anything Nancy Pelosi invested in.
Yeah, anything Nancy Pelosi invested in before she did. There's a ton of data.
Yeah, Apple.
Yeah,
Google.
If I could go back 10 years in time with $1,000.
Even Tesla, as long as you sell at the right point.
Yeah, as long as you know when the buy and sell dates are. If you had a timeline of an individual stock.
It's the sports almanac from Back to the Future, too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And sports betting is bigger now than ever. If you had sports bets, you could make a ton of money. There's numerous guys who
you could bet on literally anything. Presidents of the United States.
If you go to certain betting sites, you can bet on the color a tie a president's going to wear during a speech with over-unders.
Yeah.
There's a ton of bets that you can make.
You could literally even just get a bunch of maids and see which one can climb the curtain the fastest.
Yeah.
A rat race.
Betting is we should almost do an episode on it. It is a disease, and people do it habitually, and it's definitely a sign of societal decline that quote-unquote middle-class people, which they're not. If you're a gambling addict, you are not middle class.
Yeah.
Middle class people don't do that.
Yeah.
You're poor.
Yeah.
Like, you're struggling. if you're a gambling
You're
addict.
either very poor or you're very wealthy.
Yeah. If you're a degenerate gambler who doesn't have to worry about losing, obviously you're wealthy.
Well, yeah.
The majority of gamblers
Are not wealthy.
are on the brink of...
They have money from other, not like the average gambler, but some of these rich people, just what we've seen come out in, the last 10, 20 years even, these uber wealthy people do not live like the rest of us. So they get their rocks off by doing incredibly risky things, one of which is betting, potentially.
If your net worth is, let's say, $20 billion, you would not be on the radar as far as a rich person goes. You're not rich enough to be a celebrity.
Yeah.
But you are rich enough to go to the casino, let's say once a month, and spend $2 to $3 million.
Yep.
And it will cost you functionally nothing.
Yeah.
And you could spend $50 million a year partying,
Yep.
getting whores,
Yep.
doing whatever.
Well, if you get
and it has
rich,
no meaningful impact on your income or lifestyle.
and if you're rich enough, you can change your Wikipedia name to be regular black text instead of a hyperlinked blue text to an own article about yourself.
Yeah.
And your preclusions. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of like being in the oil field and spending a paycheck on blackjack. If you do that once a month, if you're making $3,000 a week,
Yeah.
spending one paycheck does not matter.
Yep.
It's
fine.
irrelevant.
You're fine.
You're
you can
fine.
still get your bread.
You
and
can still
peanut butter.
You're
you eat.
just fine. You're just fine.
So John Titor II exemplifies how an internet legend can spawn sequels or spin-offs and how the brand of John Titor evolved to broader mythic territory. So we've got some expanded influence in pop culture references because, nerds take note of other nerds or other things that are nerd adjacent. So there's a visual novel called Steins Gate, and it's probably the strongest example. It was released 2009 as a visual novel adapted to anime later and explicitly references John Titor. There's a video game in 99 called Reverse 1999, and in the game there's a character who's a senior computer engineer from IBM claiming to be a time traveler, including references to the IBM 5100. There's some documentaries, docudramas. Time Travel _0 from 2009 is a docudrama following Chris McCarthy investigating John Titor. There's Smoking Gun, proof John Titor is Maury Haber hoax hunter. So it's a documentary exploring that John Titor was a hoax perpetuated by Maury Haber. And then there's an Italian TV documentary about John Titor, looking into the John Titor Foundation. There's some short films online. From 2024, there's one called John Titor, the Most Mysterious Time Traveler in History. That's on YouTube. Was John Titor a time traveler from the future? That's another one on YouTube. It's a shorter clip, though, but it highlights some of John Titor's claims. And John Titor is treated as a confirmed meme internet legend, showing how posts spread and the imagery around it. So there's that. And there was an interactive role-playing GURPS, GURPS, Cyber World. They have a campaign setting that has thematic similarities to Titor's version of the future, the dystopia, the fragmented society, tech collapse, and everything else. There's a book that John Titor or the John Titor Foundation put out, which is now out of print, and it is hella expensive on eBay because I was hoping to read it. But you can find PDFs of it online for free. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, I think we could have an episode about that too.
Yeah, we totally could.
I just became aware a couple months ago that piracy is coming back. Big time.
Piracy is coming
Big
back.
time.
A huge time.
Big time. I'm not in that game.
Oh, me either.
I'm not in that game. I also don't consume media anymore. Hardly at all.
Well, I don't know. Your IMDb watch list includes the most recent Snow White, Mike, so I know you do consume media.
Well, I watched it on a paid subscription service because I'm not sure if you've looked outside or not, Nate, but the homestead has had some pretty big improvements, and I am hashtag Proho at this point.
Yeah.
And there's plenty to do around here
yes.
without watching some
without breaking the law,
mind control media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get too deep into that, but I know what's not mind controlling, using a weed burner to burn up some willow tree that has a little bit of disease on it.
Yep.
But I know what is watching mainstream news. That is
true.
Not healthy for your soul.
I was just talking to my brother-in-law over Thanksgiving about how to get the most real news nowadays It's through the memes, because and it's honest. I mean, it sounds funny. It sounds silly. But honest to God, I found out about John Titor through memes.
Oh, yeah, sure.
He's a verified meme, whatever.
Yeah.
But I found out about some other things that we have talked about. I found out about this book about AI killing everybody through memes. Like,
sure,
they will report, heavy air quotes, report things that the modern media won't do. The news media won't talk about how AI is going to kill everyone.
It's like the Camp of the Saints, which I was going to bring up later, which we'll talk about offline. But Camp of the Saints is a 70s sci-fi novel where Western countries import a bunch of people from the Middle East and Africa, and it destroys their society. Yeah. And of course, it's very difficult to get in English. It's a French novel.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with Somalia.
It has nothing to do with Somalis or, Middle Easterners being purposefully imported into the most advanced civilization that's ever existed.
Oh, China.
Not Western high society as we know it today.
Yeah.
That is dominant not only in the West, but also in the majority of the wealthy world.
Yeah.
Like the open free society that we had enjoyed at one point.
Yes.
Nothing like that.
Yeah. So going back to this book, A Time Traveler's Tale, published by the John Titor Foundation in 2003. It's a short, now out-of-print volume that collects all of John Titor's original forum posts, commentary framed as memoir letters, and material published by the so-called John Titor Foundation that presents Titor's core narrative, a soldier from 2036 sent to 75 to retrieve the IBM 5100. The book was published by the John Titor Foundation, a for-profit entity formed in 2003. Investigative reporting and domain registration records have tied the foundation to Larry Haber, who is a Florida entertainment lawyer, and family. And the foundation's existence and publication are documented. The foundation's registration and links to Haber form part of the provenance chain. So again, they believe it's this Haber and maybe this other Maury guy that we talked about a little bit earlier that maybe conspired to make these posts.
Sure. And these guys sound not like random individuals.
Yeah, they sound not like random individuals.
They sound like not random individuals.
They sound like people that may have a little extra time on their hands and
a little bit of technical knowledge to be able to...
and a pen chance for entertainment.
Drop enough.
Sensationalism.
Yeah, drop enough to make it plausible.
Yes. Credibility assessment, the strengths. The book preserves the original posts and thus is a primary artifact of the John Titor narrative. Some technical references, which we talked about, the IBM's legacy emulation ability, were factually grounded and lent early credibility to readers, but the Foundation's corporate registration and domain data point to a small circle, the Haber family, that control publication and distribution. The book provides no verifiable independent evidence that the author was a time traveler, and many of Titor's predictions have failed. But because it collected and circulated the posts in print, the Foundation book helped solidify Titor's narrative as a coherent memoir and made it a pretty big collectible item, reinforcing the legend and enabling the later pop culture references.
Looks like we need to get you a different ashtray. I have several.
Yeah. Well, we'll make it work. But again, we're on a regular sized table or smaller table.
Yeah, we're on a table that can expand for games, but we did not expand it.
No, because we don't really need it. It's just the way that I typically record. We were talking about this before the show, where Mike has his laptop set up on one side or the other usually, and I have mine set up on one side or the other usually, and we're only running off of mine right now. But I keep all my beverages on one side and the cigar on the other side, and he's got his the bigger ashtray on the side where my beverages are normally kept, and I don't. If I flip things around,
my bigger ashtray is usually right here.
Then my mojo's off, and I can't.
Mine's usually right here.
Yeah, I'm such a prima donna. I can't podcast, Mike, if my little
Nate had to have his own little fancy setup, so I had to modify mine. And then now I'm the one that's succeeding, and he's failing because he didn't do enough prep.
Am I failing, Mike? Am I failing?
I mean,
I'm here and
you're
I'm
running the show. It's really good.
Good.
The listeners need to tell us how much of a failure it is. Really.
Yeah. So what? The ashtray's overflowing, and I'm getting ash everywhere. And the tip of my cigar is disintegrating. Yeah. Which we should mention.
I'll tell my
at
Aunt
the end
Glennis
here,
that you didn't like her ashtray. ashtray.
Yeah,
right?
it's a good one, but it's a cigarette one.
It's definitely a 70s cigarette ashtray.
The little cutouts in the glass here are not big enough to accommodate a cigar. A cheroot, perhaps, but not a cigar.
Not a cigar.
So then we've got the Disclosed Chronicles of John Titor II. And he's got 2 books on Amazon, I looked, and you can get them as the ebook or the regular book. And he's got pictures of himself, of course, in the, camo military fatigues and everything. Like, he's an older white guy. So,
John Dukes, right?
Yeah.
Is that his name? John Dukes, I'm thinking of? The guy who did the real guy behind Bloodsport.
Maybe.
The hell? Frank Dukes.
Okay. I mean, it looks like, one of those, like, pick a
mustache, fatigues.
Pick like a 1980s.
Little pudgy.
Pick a 1980s movie and the older, like, sergeant or whatever, commander guy. That's what this guy looks like.
Yeah. He looks like my dad in the 1980s.
Yeah. So, I've got more here, but I'm not really going to. I don't know. I got some short excerpts from the original John Titor. There's some more literary analysis that I had done between, the John Titor I books and the John Titor II books.
Yeah.
But
what I'm gathering here is that there's not a lot of evidence to support that this is a real-time traveler.
There's no evidence to support this. But I'm going to read a little bit of excerpts. So his first one was, of course, the introductory claim, "Greetings, I'm a time traveler from the year 2036. I'm on my way home after getting an IBM 5100 computer system from the year 1975. So this claims that he's already completed his mission of getting the IBM from 75, which he likely just stored in his garage when he bought it originally, right? And
I mean, I have operating systems saved
Yeah.
from the early aughts on
Yeah.
hard drives.
Yeah.
I mean, they're emulators. They're emulators.
I still have burned CD installation discs for like Windows XP and Vista and 98 or whatever, right?
I probably still have a flash drive, like a computer. I'm sure that you remember the computer plug-in flash drive when they had the crazy firewall.
Yep.
So you just plug it in, and then you would boot it off of your
Yep. And you can
USB.
You can still boot from USB on a lot of computers.
Yeah. And then you'd have your own little computer.
Yeah.
You weren't necessarily doing anything against the rules.
You weren't using anything on that computer other than you were using like the RAM.
Yeah, you're using the processor and the RAM, but you were booting your own computer, and it would connect through the manual ports, but you weren't. You were existing in a space that did not include the computer itself.
Yes.
And I never did anything against the law. I was doing it to where I could just do what I needed, get in, get out, and move on. I didn't want to have to deal with the login and all the shit.
Yep. For sure.
Surely somebody has something like that today.
Man. Or how difficult, Mike, would it be to code an IBM 5100?
I'm pretty sure I could do it with Claude AI.
Well, even without AI, I don't think a computer system.
I do not have the ability independently to do that.
You would, because there are plenty of YouTube tutorials out there. But I'm just saying, if somebody who specifically needs an IBM 5100 should have the technical know-how to be able to program however many lines of code that is to run that machine, because it's not like you're trying to code from scratch Windows 11.
Yeah,
which even the people at Windows, Microsoft didn't do. They used AI, and that's why it's causing all these issues.
Yeah, in the same way that I could rewrite from memory, I could rewrite certain things that would be sufficient enough to be safe.
Yes.
Not necessarily computer programming. I'm thinking of other things.
Well, yes. The Iliad,
if you were a
the
computer
Odyssey,
programming person, you could probably come up with that just from your memory.
I mean, there's emulators for Nintendo 64. So there's people that can do this. I think the Nintendo 64 probably has more computing power than an IBM 5100.
Certainly.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility. You would not have to invent time travel to get yourself an emulated 5100.
Yeah.
So again, like kudos for John Titor for making the big sacrifice to come back in time.
Undoubtedly, if somebody's listening to this who is into this shit, you probably have a 5100 emulated on a flash drive.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah.
It's
a fun project.
Maybe there's even a website that has
Nate
one.
and I could do it today. If we decided to do it, we could do it right now and have it done by 5 o'clock.
Well, probably by the time the episode ends, if we pull up Chat GPT or one of the other ones.
Yeah, we could do it.
So could you write me a functional emulation of an IBM 5100?
Yeah, probably.
And it would go, who are you, John Titor?
Yes, I am John Titor. You could tell him, I am John Titor. I need this for this purpose. Rewrite me.
Or we will all die.
Yeah, or we will all die. Yeah. You could do it.
Yeah. So John Titor said, my time machine is a stationary mass temporal displacement unit manufactured by General Electric. The unit is powered by 2 top-spin dual positive singularities that produce a standard offset Tipler sinusoid. So, I mean, all standard stuff, right?
Yeah,
right.
That's totally
Of
rational.
course, I would not, if it would not have been one of those things, I would have been like, this guy is talking on his ass, but because it's that, I know he's speaking truth.
100% understand.
100%.
100%.
So, yeah. That's, kind of about it that I have for the old John Titor stuff. I don't know. We could read more stuff about it, but my thing is falling apart. It looks like Mike's cigar is kind of falling apart.
Mine's been at the end for a while.
Yeah. The end here, like we predicted, is not very good, but
honestly, I don't have my list because Nate has his laptop up, so I assume that he would take care of it for me.
I will, what is that? I will be your secretary.
Well, thank you.
Well,
thank you.
I did get a run in my stockings, though, Mike, so we said about that playful sexism earlier. So.
Yeah, there we go. I'm going to put it at 175.
175? Okay.
175. I was going to go 2, but I don't think it's as good as a 2. I think 175 is sufficient. For the price that I paid, which I believe I got these at $1.10 to $1.25 a stick, it's worth $1.25, 100%.
Yeah.
A two just might be too much.
A 2 might be too much. I think, and I also gave it a 175. It's not anywhere near a 3. It's one of those ones where the taste is fine, the construction is severely lacking.
Yes.
Because about halfway through when we did our halfway check, right after our halfway check, the tip of mine started to kind of disintegrate in my mouth and it became really loose. And then I started pulling out little bits of tobacco and things as both Mike and I lift our table coverings to show that we've been wiping that sort of stuff off. The taste is fine throughout. The last 2 inches is not pleasant. But again, it's such a long cigar that if it's only $1, $2, even if it's a $5 cigar, it's fine. It's not a...
For the money, if you're going to go out and have a fire, today it's warm outside. Yep. There's snow on the ground. We could go start a fire and smoke one of these cigars. When it turns sour, throw it in the fire, grab another one.
Yep.
That's the sort of cigar this is.
Or if you live where John Titor lived in Florida or BDP lives in Florida and you flick it in front of your lawnmower as you're mowing lawn when it gets sour.
Yeah.
That's a perfect thing. It does not look pretty. It's not one of those it's not the barber pole. It looks terrible.
I wouldn't give this to somebody. This is a you want bin cigars to smoke.
I would give this to somebody who was pretty intoxicated and they just wanted something to smoke.
I would give this to Jordan, my friend Jordan, not your friend Jordan, my friend Jordan. He smokes a lot of cigars.
Yeah.
So he knows what a good cigar is. He knows what a bad cigar is, and he wants a cigar.
Yeah.
And we're doing something to where it doesn't matter how good or how bad it is because it costs nothing, and he knows the second it turns bad.
Yeah.
Throw it out and grab another one, and
far
you don't care.
Away from you as possible.
Yeah,
the second it turns
it's
bad.
perfectly adequate for.
It was a surprise for
cigar.
us. We were looking at kind of the imperfections in the construction, and
I was thinking a 1.
The label, and I was like, this could potentially, with the length of it too. I was like, this could potentially be a less than 1 rated cigar.
Yes, and it did not. It turned out.
It turned out. It was much better than we thought, but still, there's a lot of other things in this same price range potentially.
A Cheroux is better.
Than this, but you could tequila this one maybe. And
I think that my particular wrapper was so crispy.
Sure.
And I humidify my cigars. Yep. I have cigars from 06, probably.
Yeah.
At least 08. I have cigars from my original humidor when I turned 18.
Yep.
At least I did when I moved to the house I live in now. I don't know how many of them are still around, but I know I have cigars that I bought when I turned 18.
Yeah.
So if they're still good and perfectly wrapped, how is this one in the same humidor not?
Like we said, this is a poorly constructed cigar that has decent tobacco in it.
Yes.
So if it were constructed any better, it likely might have been a higher rated cigar.
It probably went a $5 cigar instead of a $2 cigar.
Well, yeah, and it might have been a 2 or 2.5 instead of a 175.
It could have been a 3. So, that easily could have been a 3.
Yeah.
With more care, a little shorter, a little bit thicker, a little bit of different construction.
Yeah. So I think this one, the construction kind of torpedoed it.
Yeah. Not a torpedo, but it was torpedoed.
Yes. And John Titor, 2345. If you're out there and want to be a guest on this show, the invite is out now. We recorded this 2 weeks ago, so show up and we'll have you on.
Be safe, have fun.
Thanks for listening.